Hello, people of the world, whoever happens to be following. It's been a little over a month since my surgery, so I thought I would do an update. Been meaning to for like over a week now. I thought a 4-week update would be smart, but I just kept putting it off, and I've been tired at the end of the day of working and taking care of the kids and not getting a break from life ever because of coronavirus. But yeah, so today I had surgery on March 10th, and today is April 13th, so over a month out. I would say overall things are going really well. I feel like my weight loss has kind of stalled, but I've also heard that that's really normal, so I'm not too concerned about it. I know like my eating is still fine. What it likely is my body's metabolism slowing down to try to keep me at a higher weight. So I'm just being patient with it. I did do like measurements. So I had taken some measurements in December of 2019, and then redid my measurements a few days ago. And I would say all in all, I've lost about 2 inches, kind of all over. But some places were more than other. Like I think that my arms, for some reason, I can show you my arm now. Seem to have lost more, and maybe that has to do with the fact that it's muscle also, because I'm not allowed to lift things, and I usually am lifting my very heavy son, and I haven't been able to do that. So it could be that it's not just fat in my arms, it's also muscle that I'm missing. And I've been having a lot of itching, which is not a symptom people talk about a lot, but itching in this part of the arm, which is probably the place that lost the most fat. I'm not sure, but that's not too bad of a symptom to be having, all told. In terms of food stuff, I have been pretty lax and allowing myself to try different things and seeing how they feel in my body. It's Passover right now, and we eat something called matzah for Pesach, and I thought that I wouldn't have any. But given that I had eaten other things that were kind of a more solid consistency, but as long as I chewed them really well, I chose to have some gluten-free matzah for the Passover Seder. And on that first Seder, you're supposed to drink a glass or like a cup of grape juice or wine. And I don't drink alcohol, but I had my cup of grape juice, and I meant to just sip it and just take a little bit because I hadn't had any straight grape juice, didn't know if it would cause dumping syndrome or anything, but I was distracted by my kids, and I just said the blessing and then leaned over and drank the whole cup, and I was like, oh wow, okay, I wasn't supposed to do that, but thankfully it didn't seem to have any negative effect on me. I don't remember if I shared in my last video that I'd been pretty constipated, but I was going like 4 or 5, some maybe even 6 days without pooping, taking a bunch of stool softeners, and that wasn't great, but it seems like I'm going the other direction now and tending towards more diarrhea. And I don't know if that's related to the foods I'm eating because I am eating more carbs than I was before, or if it's just kind of a natural progression through this process. So that's been a little disconcerting, mostly because I already don't think I'm doing a great job getting my water in, and then having diarrhea means I'm losing water that I need. So it's not horrible. I'm not like having it all day, but just have had a couple of episodes of diarrhea in the past week. So I got to keep an eye on that and see if it seems to be food related or not. Sometimes it can be hard to tell. But yeah, I've been focusing on a lot of different kinds of fish. I'm not a huge meat eater anyway, and I don't love preparing meat, especially if it's not kosher meat. I have some kind of weird hang up about that. And since we're not eating out much, and we're not going out to eat or getting even drive-through stuff that often, I've been trying to eat some meat at home, but mostly been doing fish. So Trader Joe's has this great smoked trout, so I've been having smoked trout, and I also got smoked herring, which actually is also really good. Very stinky, but very good. I've been eating like fake, like imitation crab and imitation lobster, which is made of just a bunch of different kinds of fish, and enjoying those. Trying to find, I don't love them, for every day, but I do I'm trying to find different sauces and stuff to make them a little more palatable. Yeah, so my 6 weeks is going to be a week from tomorrow. So I feel really good about kind of not having to think so much about everything I'm eating. And I'm not even thinking that much about it now, but it's enough that I feel a little stressed, like, oh no, what can I really eat? How much can I eat? What's going to happen? Still need to be careful on quantity. I had those tiny little cups that I was using for a while, which would always measure it, and I should probably still be using those to measure exactly how much to eat at each meal. Um, but they're not like the best for eating out of, so I've been using like my kids' little baby bowls, and they're does it say how many ounces are in these? I don't know exactly how many ounces this holds, but it's more than my stomach can. So I've been eating out of those and then trying to kind of eyeball how much I can really eat and then taking it slow enough that I can feel when I'm full. And there's been a couple times where I have a bite in my mouth and I'm aware that when I swallow it, it's probably going to start hurting. So I have to get a little bit better about slowing down and noticing that moment and then either spitting the food out or just actually stopping. Up until next week, I'm still allowed to drink along with my meals. But starting at 6 weeks, I need to not drink about, I think it's like half an hour before, 45 minutes after. Because that way it doesn't push the food along too quickly. And hopefully I'll maintain being full longer. I do notice that I'm usually, and I'm getting a little better at noticing what time things are happening. I notice that I am getting hungry at about 2 hours after I eat each, small meal. And that's fine. That's, about how it's supposed to be. And I'm not doing as much protein supplement stuff that as like they had said I would do. So I think that also is creating a little bit more of a hunger situation. I just don't really like most protein supplements. I don't really like the plain whey added to the food. But I might try adding. My friend who had a similar surgery a while ago suggested that I eat oatmeal in the mornings because mornings has been my hardest point and times when I've tended to stuff it a little more than I should because I'm hungry in the mornings. It's been all night since I ate, but just nothing feels like it will be appetizing except things that I'm not supposed to eat. Like I really want sweets in the morning and carbs. I've always eaten, like I've always been a big cereal in the morning kind of person, or cereal type of food. I also am usually happy to eat leftovers, but lately that has not been true. Lately I've really been wanting cereal. So I did buy Trader Joe's has this cereal that is made with mostly protein, but does have some sugar in it. And that's been good, but I think it could be contributing to the diarrhea situation. I don't know if it's dumping syndrome per se, but it could be. I did have that after I had cereal this morning. So anyway, I made oatmeal with banana flavored Premier Protein. Haven't tasted it yet. My sense is it'll probably be way too sweet for me. So next time I might have to do half banana protein and half milk, which is fine. But at least it means I'm getting some protein in there as well. But I like oatmeal, so I think that'll probably be a good choice for me. I made a pizza on cauliflower crust with the kiddos the other day. That was pretty delicious. But also got me full very quickly, and pizza is a food I really like, so I had to make sure to take it slow. Have not gotten a chance to have sushi yet, although I would really like to. So maybe once that stimulus check comes in, I'll order some sushi and pick it up because just the delivery itself is so expensive because there's the delivery fee plus the tip. Yeah, maybe that'll be to celebrate my 6 weeks out. And I think at 6 weeks out, I can start having rice too, but probably just a small amount of rice. Yeah, I think that's the main update. Things have been healing really well. I'm not wearing the surgical binder as much. I might need to, especially once I start lifting Benzione, because the main point of that is to keep my hernias from popping out. But all of my scars are healed really well. The one that's the highest up, you can't even tell that it's there. If you see a scar down here, this is from my gallbladder surgery. The scar from this is right here, and I don't think you can probably even see it on the video. The ones a little lower aren't as awesome as that, but they're pretty good. So I feel good about that, and yeah, just in general, feeling good about having the surgery. I had a dream that I was running, kind of jogging, but running, and that was pretty cool. I do feel lighter on my feet. I mean, I am literally lighter on my feet, but I feel lighter on my feet. I've been able to move my body in ways that after I did pain reprocessing therapy, I was able to do, but I feel like I'm able to do it even more now than I was then. And there are days where the pain kind of creeps back in. I think it has to do with stress more than anything else. Stress and maybe the way I sleep. But haven't been using my oxygen. I did not get the test results from my nighttime oxygen test. I don't remember if I told y'all that I had it. I probably did. Where they just had a little thing on my finger to check my pulse ox all night. And I was supposed to keep 1.5 liters of oxygen on until I got the results of that test. But first of all, I ended up pulling it out some of the time anyway, and also I just haven't been feeling like I need it. And so that's good. I think it's good. I don't know. I don't know if it means I don't have sleep apnea anymore or if I just don't like having things on my face when I'm trying to sleep. But yeah, that's good. Carpal tunnel. So my right hand's been fine. My left hand, I still do get some carpal tunnel symptoms, mainly numbness, not pain. But I'll be, if I sit in a certain position or do something with this hand for too long, like even if I'm like watching a video and I hold the phone too long or hold a cup of coffee too long, my hand does go numb and I have to shake it out. So I'm hoping that symptom eventually gets better, but it's not too bad. It only happens maybe a couple times a day. And at its worst with my carpal tunnel, my hands are going numb hundreds of times a day. Where it was kind of like if I wasn't very conscious of where my hands were, they were probably getting numb. So that's good. Yeah, I think that's the whole update, and I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. And yeah, I think that's it. Etty, so my 4.5-year-old daughter, has noticed a few times, like, your belly is not as big as it was. Things like that. Or like, oh, when you were fat. She said that. I'm like, honey, I'm still fat. Like, it's okay. I'm still fat. I don't know why. It's funny. Yeah, I think that's all I have right now. I had been thinking a lot about people outside of my house not seeing me until this pandemic is, I don't know, past or better. So on some level, I'm hoping some of them are seeing this video so that they can kind of get used to my body the way it is. I'll also try to put more pictures on Facebook that show what I look like. I've struggled with like how I want people to react, because of course I want to be told I look good. Everyone wants to be told they look good, especially if I had this big surgery and I've done all this stuff. But I also don't want people to insinuate that fat me wasn't attractive. So I've been thinking about asking people to say something like, wow, you're as handsome as you've always been, or something like that. That isn't a compliment like, oh, you look better now because you're not fat anymore, or not as fat as you were, but more just like a generalized statement of like, wow, you look great, and you always look great. And I know it's hard, because I know that like, it's like so complicated, right? Like how much of our attraction to fat bodies, or lack thereof rather, is natural, like some kind of evolutionary thing where folks might not be as attracted to fat bodies because they're not necessarily as healthy or as fertile, something like that. And how much of kind of the general public's view or lack of attraction to fat bodies has to do with just discrimination and fat phobia, and like, what does it mean to be fat? It must mean you're a lazy bum who never does anything and just stuffs their face all the time. So anyway, I don't know. It's all very complicated. Like, I don't want anyone who's genuinely more attracted to me now to have to not say that, but also like, I want to give priority to people who were attracted to me no matter what I looked like, no matter how big my body was, because I'm the same person. I don't know. It's all very complicated to shift through in my head, but it's something I try to do. And yeah, I think that's all I'll share today. And probably we'll try to do a 6-week update, or maybe a little bit after 6 weeks, just to talk about how it's been kind of not feeling like I have to control everything that I'm eating. Trying to do the work of intuitive eating is about being mindful about what I'm eating and how that feels in my body and how my body reacts to it. I feel like overall I do pretty well with that. What's a struggle for me is still like this voice in my head, like, oh, carbs are the enemy. Carbs are what's going to get me fat again. And so being aware of that voice, and then also like trying to tell that voice to simmer down, and like, it's okay. I'll try different things. And if I have a weird reaction to something, then I don't have to eat it, or I can eat it in smaller amounts. So, yeah, carbs and sugar, I guess, are the things I think about a lot in terms of that. But yeah, and I still want to like read more of the intuitive eating book. I only read the first few chapters, so I'd like to get back on track with that, and you know, feel good about the choices I'm making, but not have it be about like a diet mentality or anything like that. Just about kind of what feels good and what helps me feel healthy and strong. So that's my update for now. Hope you're all doing great, and yeah, look forward to. Oh, and at 6 weeks, I'll also be able to exercise, which I haven't really been able to do. And with 2 kids, I'm still not sure how I'm going to do much, but I'll be able to at least lift my child, my smaller child, and my larger child. So I can even just do more activities with them that are physical, that maybe that'll feel good, or maybe do some like live stream yoga, which I've been wanting to do, and just really like, well, I'm still not 6 weeks out, so I probably shouldn't yet. So that's the story. Morning glory. Bye.